Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for welcoming me today. It is a joy and a privilege to be here with you. Bring you greetings from Romania. As Mark mentioned, last time I was here back in 2019. It's been 7 years since. And even though we are separated by thousands of miles, Romania and America, we are united by something greater than geography, and that is the blood of Jesus Christ.
Amen.
And being here today, I am reminded that the church is not American, not Romanian, it's Christ's church. And we are, though we are separated, we are one body, serving one Lord and having one mission. Some of you know me. I've been here 2019, with some of you I communicated either on Facebook or I sent some updates from our ministry. And before saying anything about the ministry, I want to say thank you very much for your prayers, for your support, for your love for God, and for your faithfulness to mission. And because of you, the Lord worked and the gospel reached further than you may realize. And this is my family, me and Anna, my wife. We are Campus Crusade, or now it's Crew, staff for the last 30 years, working with God for His ministry. And then our children, Justin, 22, graduated college, and Irene, she's 17 in high school. Both of them are walking with God. This picture was taken in our church, our Baptist church. I'm living in the city of Cluj-Napoca, which is the second major city in Romania. Who knows what is the capital of Romania? Nobody. So Bucharest. Okay, you have some Americans are confusing. We don't like it, but they said Budapest. So Budapest is the capital of Hungary, and Bucharest, if I pronounce it correctly, it's the capital of Romania. So we live in the city of Cluj-Napoca, and the picture was taken in our Baptist local church when 1.5 years ago, when my daughter was baptized. And I am an elder in the church. I don't know if you have here elders. It's different than deacons, but being an elder, I was able to baptize her. It was a great blessing for me to see your own child just committing to the Lord. Let me give you, before going, just a very short Romanian lesson, okay? Har și pace. Okay, I will tell you first what it means, and then we will all pronounce it. Grace and peace. This is the way Romanians evangelicals are usually greeting each other. Like if I will meet a member of my church, even in the city, I will tell him, usually we only say pace, peace. Just as Jesus, okay, peace be unto you. So pace. Next time when you see a Romanian, a Romanian evangelical, you tell him pace, and hopefully he will say pace to you back. So that's the way the Apostle Paul is beginning his letters. Okay, grace and peace to you. Okay, let's try it. Har și pace. One more time. Har și pace. Wonderful. A+. Good. I was reminded these days of this verse at the end of the Gospel of Matthew. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations. And this command reached my country many years ago. Missionaries came, people prayed, and the gospel was preached, and lives were changed. And one of the lives that was changed was mine. This is me, if you believe. That was somebody who is joking about 30 kilos again or pounds. I don't know. Okay, this is back in 1989. If you know a little bit of history of Europe and communism, in 1989 it was the fall of the Iron Curtain and Berlin Wall, and there were changes in all the Eastern Europe. I was at that time 18. I was drafted in the army. We had to do at that time each man 6 months or 1 year, depending on the situation. And exactly when I was in the army for 6 months, in December 1989, we had what we called up to today the revolution. And you are, I don't want to insult you, but you are old enough to remember the former President Ceausescu, if something rings to you, the dictator in the communist time. And he was replaced, and he was even executed on that December 1989. But I was 18 and lived for my first 18 years during the communist time. And I was an atheist. My father told me there's nothing to go after your death. Your body goes to be buried, and that's it. So there's no soul, and I believed it. But then in 1992, I heard the gospel on the shore of the Black Sea, and I was my second year in college. I went to just have fun during my summer break. Exactly at that time, exactly at that place, Campus Crusade had a mission project run by some Americans, missionaries who came to Romania. They were willing to fulfill, go and make disciples of all nations. And interestingly, so I was on the beach. There were people coming to me, first time when I heard the gospel. I knew something about Christ, but I was an Eastern Orthodox. I don't know how much do you know about, it's kind of similar to Catholics, but still, when you see Russians, Greeks, these are mostly Eastern Orthodox. Yeah. And I heard the gospel. I came to know the Lord because Americans came and invested time and loved Romanian enough to come and share the gospel. I was involved with Campus Crusade as a student, and then 1995 I came on staff. This is my first team. In Bucharest, 1995, you see an American family. They worked with us, and then we are 8 Romanians here, and 6 of us out of 8 came to know the Lord through Campus Crusade at that time. And for me, that was because I saw changes in me when I was thinking what to do and graduate. I was getting a diploma on engineering, and I was praying on my last, is it senior year or whatever, what to do. And when I felt God is calling me to mission, so I said the change that God did in my life, He can do in my colleagues and people in Romania. So, in Romania, you will have it here. If you know a little bit the map of Europe, it's kind of, it has a strategic position, crossroads between East and West. You have here all the Western countries, and then the bigger countries on the East, Russia, Ukraine, Turkey, are very close to us. Our neighbors, Ukraine, Hungary, Bulgaria, Serbia, Moldova. So in Romania, you have a Christian majority, but it's Eastern Orthodox 80% and evangelical. For us, that means mostly Baptists and Pentecostals. So that's the almost all the evangelicals. So we are only 3%. And in a way, most Eastern Orthodox we would consider not born again. And I will share a little bit, but if you know some of what their beliefs are and what they do, they don't promote the personal relationship with Jesus, and we work with them. Now, very shortly, we had 50 years of communism up to 1989, where religious freedom was restricted. you were not allowed to use Bible. Churches were monitored. Many Christians suffered for Christ. As you may have heard, some of you, of Richard Wurmbrand. He wrote Tortured for Christ. He founded Voice of the Martyrs and spent 13 years in a Romanian prison for his faith. There were difficult times, but faith that God protected his church and actually even made the church stronger, so much so that most Americans who came to Romania, especially in the 90s after the revolution, they were so much impressed and they said, oh, the church in Romania persevered despite everything that happened. And some people were put in prison, some even died. And Richard Wurmbrand was released, and later on there was some negotiation even with the US state. And he came to the US Senate back in the 1970s. And at that time, some Americans in the leadership somehow thought about Romania and Russia, that these are nice guys and we do not have to worry. And Richard Wurmbrand went to the Senate, what you think is not true. So he took out his shirt and he showed the traces on how he was beaten, and it was impressive. And that gesture made more than just, I don't know, statistics or whatever, to see that I was here and I was tortured for my faith. Now, what is the situation today? For the first 20 years after the revolution, there was an openness of Romanians. We saw many churches planted, many people like me came to know the Lord. But the more Romania, like when we got in 2007 we were accepted to European Union, since that time, Romanians got, I would say, richer and more interested with, I don't know, materialism, and the borders were open. Many Romanians went to the West, Spain, Germany to work. And what I see, it was a plateau, so it did not grow anymore. And sometimes that's how Satan works. It changed in Romania the way so first you had persecution during the communists, and after you get riches and worries about life, and that's what he does. Having different temptations to you not to believe in God. We have secularism, as you have here, just to take out the religious life out of the public. Eastern Orthodox, which is very formal with rituals. I don't know if you ever entered a church, you see priests wearing the same, like even as the Old Testament, like Catholics, but it's not like this, with icons and paintings on the walls. So no life-changing faith. New spirituality. I see more and more influence. People are saying, okay, I'm spiritual, but not what I will understand by spiritual. It's just, okay, God is somewhere. It can be an energy. Families separated by immigration, living children with grandparents, and a new generation searching for purpose in life and struggling with depression. Now, I go to what we do now. We see the situation. It breaks our heart to see that Romania, as in some other Western countries, is kind of not open. It's closing in a way their eyes towards God, and we want more, I don't know, prosperity, and which is good, but it's about priorities. So we do many kind of projects, developing community leaders, organizing conferences, reaching out to, for example, poor people or gypsy. We have a ministry with gypsy. We work, me and my wife, in prison. She is doing a Bible study for ladies incarcerated, and me and her are doing a course with staff hired by the prison. So these are policemen, for example. We had several series that we take, and we go through a personal and spiritual development course. with them. And also, we equip Christians for ministry. Now I have 30 years of ministry experience. We've been working for 3 years in the Philippines. So we equip Christians in Romania. But what I want is to focus more on two kinds of ministry that we did, especially this one, and I guess you will be interested in the second one too. So what we do is to work with the teachers, because we see now how strategic their role is in shaping the next generation of Romania. Just imagine in a career, one teacher, I don't know, any of you teachers or, wow, wonderful, okay. In a career, I don't know about you here, but if you teach for a long career, you will teach more than 1,000, that's what statistics said, students, and you interact. And the kids, our children, our grandchildren spend about, I don't know, 6-7 hours at school, and the teachers can have an influence on their lives. About the same time, by the way, that 6 hours a day our children spend, if we don't limit them on Facebook or social media. That's what statistics said. But that's an important role that the teacher has to influence our children. And just remember, I remember my kids coming from school. Oh, the teacher said so and so. It was like, okay, what the teacher said. Sometimes I was not feeling well because like the opinion of the teacher would be more important than my opinion as a parent. But sometimes that is so that speaks to the importance of a teacher in the life of the future generation. And I'm definitely sure that all of you here are very much concerned about the young people, even in this country, their future. What I understand coming from Europe, we don't have the same situation as you have. But I understand, like, okay, you raise up kids, when they go to college, many of them, they don't come back to church, because colleges are designed, I don't know, with liberal thoughts and things like this. So if you take the kids since they are, I don't know, even first grade, and then, and of course, even in Romania, you're not allowed to speak directly, freely, the gospel to your kids, but we find ways to bring Christian values and life principles. And part of what we do, so our is to build local teachers community in every city if possible, and groups of teachers that come together, mainly, or at the beginning, Christian teachers who can pray for each other, support each other because they have the same interests, and they can bring their colleagues there, and in a nice way, not aggressive way, to be a testimony to them. And we had one of the teachers coming to us and said, "Oh, I'm so glad I met you. I was praying for many, many years because I am the only Christian teacher in my school. And I don't know, I feel like I'm persecuted and I don't know how to react. I don't know how to share my faith. And now that I found a group of teachers that can meet, that support each other, you are a blessing. You are the answer to my prayer." So we are working especially with teachers, help them connect to their colleagues, to the parents of the students, but also having in mind the future of Romania, because if we invest good values now in our teachers, in our children, then maybe the next generation it will be changed. And we have partnerships with different schools in Romania, so we are allowed to enter, especially, and it will be a challenge for me later on, but especially when we get Americans coming to visit, like this is an American, so we have partnerships and we enter classrooms when they teach English. So you will hear, I don't know how much time do I have, but I have a short testimony from an English teacher in Romania who had there were two Americans coming and teach to 100 students in 4 classes. And she would say one of the boys came to her and said, "This was the best teacher. This was the best English class ever." To hear someone from another country speaking to them. Okay, the second ministry that I want to say something about is what happened in the last 4 years since the war started in Ukraine. It was at the beginning something that go back a little bit. Romania, as I said at the beginning, has a common border with Ukraine. So when the war started and there were bombings, the Russians tried to bomb, and there was the impression for the first week that the whole country will be conquered in a few weeks. And at that time, hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians fled. And because Romania was very close and they were getting to the west, many came through Romania. And we had a decision to make. Of course, as a country, there were decisions militarily, economically, whatever, socially. But for us as Christians, we were thinking, okay, what to do? We will not get into politics, okay? Though I will honestly say that Russia, it was for 1,000 years a threat to Romania, but we said, okay, we will not get into politics, but let's show Christian compassion because these people are suffering. So we opened our houses. Here is there are two families that live. Then we were hosting them, feeding them, and helping them with medicine, documents, whatever. So it was a crazy for several months. It was very, very crazy. We had some people sleeping with us in the house tonight, and then tomorrow somebody else, and even them, they did not know what to do. At that time, that was crazy. The first 2 months. Some of them stayed in Romania, others went just waiting to see what happens in Ukraine, whether they can go back. And many of them, and here is my wife, so those who settled down in our city, in Cluj, we try to listen to their stories and hear stories that, okay, I live in like the eastern part of Donbass, if it means something to you, and then my house was bombarded. I don't know, my city was occupied. I have no place to go back to. So I need to decide whether to stay here, go somewhere in the west, or I don't know, come back to Ukraine, but in the western part, which is not that much affected. But at least in our case, so we organize different camps and meetings. Like this is my wife working with Ukrainian kids, just helping them for some hours to forget about the pain. Because some lost their fathers, husbands, and actually at that time, Ukraine drafted all men into army, and up to today, like men between 18 and I think it's 60 or 50 of age, they are not allowed to leave the country because they even today they lose people in the war, and they have to replace them. So. Anyway, so it's these are the people that are still in our city with us. There are thousands in the city. This is my church. I am the coordinator for the program for Ukrainians within my church. And this is about 25 Ukrainians still living in Romania that we take care of. And we provide and help them with what they need. And they had to take jobs because the government helped them at the beginning, but then later on stopped the help, and they will take jobs. And they are waiting now to see what will happen next. So I went almost 10 times in Ukraine, getting help to different people. We established, because I work with the teachers, we went to 2 or 3 schools, for example, brought these are teachers from Ukraine and see how happy they are just to get a plastic bag that it says Romania on it and Romanian products, and they were crying to us that there are some Christians from a different country who care so much that they came to help them despite the risks, because I was several times there, and then the sirens, alarms were starting, and at that time you had to go to find a bunker or a bomb shelter, and you had to stay there for an hour maybe. And even at that school, they had in the basement that shelter. So, and this one touched my heart. I was last time in the city of Lviv, that's in the western part of Ukraine. I entered a church, and on that church there are several posters like this with pictures of the officers who died and pictures of their kids. And it was touching to see the war. We even if we don't talk about politics, who is right, what president is good, what bad, but just please pray for peace in Ukraine, because it doesn't bring anything good, but only suffering and pain. And then, how can you help? Of course, you pray for our ministry, you pray for the teachers and what we do, Gypsy, and if you want to get more updates, I don't know if you still have it, okay. Also, you can, I will talk to Jeff and maybe Pastor Michael about the idea of sending short-term missions. Like this one and this one, they are Americans from Colorado. They came to my city, and we went to several schools, and they helped me to partner with local schools. These two teachers are English teachers, and they open their classes for them to teach. So if you want to come to Romania, especially like if you have experience in teaching, but we can accommodate any kind of ministry. We can bring you to orphanages or poor people. So we can, and also the idea of helping financially. And I'll mention one way you can help, but I will tell you the story. About every other year, we organize a bigger conference for over a weekend in a nice place, a city. And in March 2024, we had this for 70 teachers. Well, we just let people know, okay, you invite others. And one of the people that registered to come was this man. His name is John, and we cannot see her well, but it's his wife, Anna. So they attended the conference. What I didn't know when I saw their names, so I had no idea who they are. But later on found out he is the principal of a school just about 10 kilometers away from my city. And the wife is a teacher of Eastern Orthodox religion. And I was kind of nervous, okay, this is principal, she's okay, she will come. And during that conference, they approached me after the first day. I said, are you having some religious, so the title was How to Be an Emotionally Intelligent Teacher. And we went step progressively telling them how important it is to be emotionally intelligent, and step by step, like on the second evening, we were telling them ways to be intelligent. They mentioned God, prayer, but we were not there. And she came and said, are you kind of some religious organization? And because you seem to speak in a different way than I was attending other conferences. You speak about values, and when talking to them, I realized me and John are originally from the same region of Romania in the north. And that made up, that is not by accident. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the conference, we talked again, and it was more clearly that we also have some religious influence for them. And I told John, in your town, 10 kilometers from my city, I have a friend which is a pastor of the Baptist church. And he invites me to preach in his church once in a while. So next time when I come to preach, can I invite you to join the church? And he said, okay. So next time when I went there, I called him, and he came to I think it was first time in his life that came to a Baptist church. And then later on, the next day in February, he called me and said, can you do a seminar for teachers in my school? So we went again, so there were 40 teachers in John's school, and at the same time we had those two Americans, they are partners with us in teachers ministry, and we went into 100 classes, and 100 students were there. And then last fall in November, I told him I am a facilitator now for, I don't know if you are familiar with some of you with John Maxwell. So I did a course and I'm facilitating, it's a course called Beyond Success. It has 7 sessions, and one of the sessions is John is speaking about my most important relationship with God. And the rest, we talk about relationship with others, growing attitudes, and so on and so on. So I did, and 20 teachers in his school signed up to attend, and this was in December 25, graduation of the course. And one more step was that just last month, we got a donation, and we were able to print some planners and gave to those who attended 20, and they are happy. And I told them that in March 27 to 29, we will organize a conference similar to this one, when John came the first time. And so we expect about 70 teachers to come. I saw how this, without knowing, okay, who will come, we just spread the word, and people from all over Romania came. Half of them, I had no idea who they are. So he came to the church. We started the partnership. It was, and I saw God's sovereign way on, okay, he is from the same region with me. I am friend with the Baptist pastor in his, and what I did not tell you is that the pastor's wife is the English teacher in his school. So I will let her just say in 1 minute. If I can. I don't know how to work on it, but
yeah.
And I teach English to
this is the pastor's wife.
100 students. In 2025, I had the chance to participate to a seminar with the title Rediscovering the Joy of Being a Teacher. About 40 teachers attended. It was a very inspiring and helpful meeting. The same day, I invited the 2 Americans who were part of the team to come and speak to my students. They came and they spoke to almost 100 students. They addressed topics like life values, character, and the influence of technology. My students really enjoyed interacting with our guests. It was a great experience for them to see that learning English is meaningful experience, and even those who are not doing really great at English, they tried to ask questions, to answer. At the end of the class, one of my students who doesn't really love English that much told me, "Teacher, this was the best English lesson I've ever had." I've seen that having native speakers, English speakers come and interact with my students is really a blessing. So thank you, and I'm waiting for the time when we might have similar experiences.
Okay, so in order to have this conference, okay, in March 27, to be able for the teachers to come, we want to give them some allocation or subsidy, I don't know which is the right word,
Mm.
about $100 about for each person. This is something that right now we still have a need for $4,000 to cover and be given as allocations. So the teachers will not pay everything because we will stay for a week at the hotel. It's transportation, materials, and speakers and other things. So we still need to have a budget for 4,000. And my purpose to come to the States in a way is to try to find support for my family. I will be talking a little bit tonight about it. But this is for this conference. And for us, it was a great opportunity to bring teachers from all over Romania. I did not have time, but to tell you how we went online during the web, pandemic, and we had 500 teachers who are attending our webinars, and they are coming from all over Romania. And now we invite them to come here, and we'll see how many. But to be able for them, in a way, to cover everything will be too much. So I talked to Jeff, and Mark knows about it. So I will just finish now and let you. But thank you very much for allowing me to be here. I guess we don't have time for questions, right? Okay, if you want to ask anything, about 5 minutes or so, yes.
You have a common language with Ukraine?
No,
No.
not at all.
Oh.
No. So it's Ukrainians. So you have different roots. You have Slavic influence, Slavic influence, which is Russia, Bulgaria, Ukraine, Belarus. But we Romanians are the only Latin country in the East.
Okay.
Our language is similar to Italian and Spanish. So I think some of you call it romantic language.
Right.
I don't know the
Yes.
you teachers were, so not Ukrainian. So Ukrainians and Russians, and so it's Slavic.
Okay.
Yeah. And Hungarian would be different. Yeah, any other?
Have you seen the evangelical increase since you've been in the ministry? Or does it stay about the same?
I will tell you, in the first, so after '89, we also had many Americans coming, and that was God opening doors after years of atheism and darkness. People opened their hearts. So for the next about 20 years, the church was growing much. But sometimes after 20 years, there was a plateau, in my opinion, and now I see a decline, unfortunately. Part of it is that some evangelical, and actually some people are asking me, the only group of people that are increasing now, it's the Pentecostals among Gypsy. Okay, so all the others are kind of going a little bit down, okay? But Gypsy are still, but with Gypsies, I don't know how much you know, but you have to be careful. They are more emotional. So if you bring them to a evangelistic meeting, okay, you just share some illustrations that will make them cry. And then, okay, who wants to receive Jesus? I do. Okay. And then, but the test is in 1 month, 1 year, because they are stealing, there are some, and then they usually, some of them go back to their life. So it was just a momentarily decision. But generally, yes, it's, unfortunately, that's so Eastern Orthodox lost, they were 87% to the last census, and now they are 80% of the population. So the number of atheists or not belonging to any religion is increasing. And that's the end times that Christ prophesied.
Do you have any other religious influences other than what you talked about?
I'm not sure what you mean by, you mean denominations or generally?
Or just the growth of the Muslim community?
Not
so
much, not much, no. No, it's Muslims are less than 1%. We did not, and I guess you like this, we did not follow the path of the Western Europe, who, in my opinion, not wisely opened their doors to immigrants. So much so that, like, in about 5 years, when Angela Merkel was the Chancellor of Germany, there were 1 million immigrants coming, and not filter them at least. So any refugees from Syria, okay, come, we are nice to you, and that was not good. And I think even they regret. Romania did not do so. So historically, we have less than 1% Muslim. We have about 7% Catholics. We have some more general Protestants, Jehovah's Witnesses. But I would say, even with the Eastern Orthodox, these are not even real Eastern Orthodox. It's like the Catholics are not real Catholics. Some, they are just baptized in that religion. Mm-hmm. But actually, they don't behave as they have a real. Because if you are a real Eastern Orthodox and you I don't know, commit to God, and then who knows, maybe you have a relationship, you are born again, I don't know. Mm. But most of them, it's not. We have influences like New Age, Oriental. Unfortunately, you can be a Eastern Orthodox or Catholic, but at the same time, you believe you are influenced by Oriental religions, meaning like, okay, you believe in, I don't know, reincarnation, or I don't know what, or New Age, or things like this that may not fit into the Christian worldview. Yeah, but we don't have, what we have now, and I think we need to close, is because many Romanians went to work abroad, now we lack some manpower, and the HR, human resources companies brought people from Nepal, Sri Lanka, Philippines, and others to work to Romania. This is legalized in a way, and it brings some challenges, but the good thing is that we were praying, even as an organization, for years, that God will open doors to go and make disciples in all nations. But for us, it's difficult and it's costly to go to Nepal. But God now brought Nepalese to Romania. So then if you don't do as a church, okay, you may not like it, but somehow they are here, so you can have a ministry, invite them to the church, and we see cases. We have in CRU, Campus Crusade Romania, an Iranian I hired, because I'm also part-time with HR. We hired him, he became a Christian. He fled from Iran about 10 years ago. He became a Christian in Romania, and now he's working with us as missionary, and wants to plant an Iranian church in Bucharest. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.